Hi, I'm Debbie,
And I'm Jan.
and this is the Villages 365.
And today we're going to do another series of Did Ya Know? I was trying to make my name longer.
Jan.
And yeah,
Jan.
because it's so short. So, anyway.
Well, did you know that there is a farmer's market every Saturday at Brownwood? And I believe the hours are 9 to 2. And they have fresh vegetables. They even have some seafood there. All depends on who comes, but lots of fresh vegetables and fruits. So it's a great place to pick up your
And some
local goods.
Craft things that people make. And homemade, not homemade, but honey from this region. I mean, there's all sorts of different booths, but it's all around the square, and it's usually pretty crowded. So yeah, it used to be at Spanish Springs years ago.
No more.
But I think they figure that Brownwood is now in the center of the Villages. So that works.
So, did you know? Did you know that there is a Portillos coming to the Villages?
Ooh, I've never been there.
So Jan's like, what's a Portillos? So if
I thought it was a mushroom.
Really? Oh, like a portobello. Like a Portillo bello.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, it's if you're from Illinois and especially the Chicago area, you would definitely know about Portillo's. Dick Portillo started that a long time ago. It was a little itty bitty hot dog stand in Villa Park, Illinois, and it expanded and he became a bazillionaire. And they've got the best hot dogs. They've got Vienna beef hot dogs. They've got awesome beef sandwiches, Italian beef sandwiches. If you want it wet, that means with all the juice on it. If you want it dry, then you want no juice on it. And they have wonderful chopped salads if you're a salad person. They have just amazing food there. And I will say he did sell it about 3 years ago. And when he sold it, I was really disappointed because then you always feel like what's going to happen. And I think it was like Berkshire Hathaway. I mean, they're that big that bought it. It was somebody big that bought it. It might have been Warren Buffett. But anyway, so somebody big bought it. But the one thing, thank you, Dick Portillo, that he wrote into the contract was that they had to keep buying from the same suppliers.
Nice.
So the food quality should all be the same. We did notice the beef sandwiches got a little bit smaller, a little less beef in there, but since the sale, because when we go back to Illinois, we always visit, but it's going to be a great place. So that's going to be in Lady Lake. It's going to be over, if you're familiar with the area on 441 where all the construction is going on, right where the bridge is.
Okay.
It's going to be over there. So near that racetrack gas stations that's there. And I think that's Water Oaks or whatever, the community right across. So it's going to be a busy place. I'll tell you, in Illinois, they actually hire police officers to run traffic because it is that busy. But they have great drive-through lines. So what they do is they've got people stacked outside. They come up to your car. They take your order. I mean, super efficiently run because they have to be, or otherwise they couldn't push the
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
The same way. They get you right through there and have kids come out. Yeah. So awesome.
So anyway, I'm excited to take Jan there for her first hot dog, beef sandwich, or chopped salad. Oh, and they have a great chocolate cake too. It's this
all
big,
four.
Thick,
I'm going to eat all four.
It's amazing. And their milkshakes are good too. So anyway, stay tuned. But did you know it's coming? Start it though.
Hey, did you know that the Villages has a very intricate system of moving their water from pond to pond and using those retention ponds as irrigation? And I've heard that it is quite the engineering feat. And like right after one of our hurricanes, they pumped a lot of water over to the course at Tierra because that had never really been full before, clear up to one of the bridges. And because there was so much rain around Hacienda and the old section, and they were just able to do all that. They're under the sewer systems. I mean, it is an engineering marvel.
Yeah. And it's a really interesting thing too, because I know when we first moved here, we get these big storms, have tons of rain in the summer, and then all of a sudden you'd be driving by and they're sprinkling. I'm like, why are they wasting this water? Why on earth would they be sprinkling the grass when we just had 18 feet of rain? And then you find out they're emptying the ponds. So that's part of the water mitigation to get rid
Yeah.
of too much
Yeah.
water in the pond so there is not flooding. And I did read somewhere that actually, because this is also tied in with all of the golf courses, of course, and I read somewhere that golf courses throughout the nation, their groundskeepers or whoever takes care of that stuff, have come here to
See how they do it.
yeah, see how they do it, because it's apparently a very efficient system and a very smart system. So
Yeah, exactly, because that's expensive and um, kind of a drain on your water system if you can't take it from out of your pond. So yeah, it was pretty brilliant.
yeah, but you also might lose your favorite alligator too, because he might be going
Yeah.
underwater to the to the next pond.
Through a sewer pipe into the next one, looking for love.
So yeah, but did you know? Did you know that there is a teeny tiny racetrack for
Teeny tiny cars.
teeny tiny cars down at Everglades? We did a video actually on the Everglades Rec Center, and we found this place, and they have, for the remote control cars, they have a little racetrack.
They do, yeah.
And they were going pretty fast.
Yeah. I think we'll take the grandkids down there when they come visit. But yeah, and they go fast.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And they're also, if you are into the remote control teeny tiny things, at the polo field, you can a lot of times find the airplanes up there. They have the remote control airplanes going up at the polo field, and down at Spanish, they have the remote control boats. Yeah.
And there's a club for that.
Yeah.
And then they do races, and yeah, it's kind of fun to watch. Did you know?
Did you know that their Villages has their own hospital? Actually, UF now owns it, but initially the Villages did develop the hospital, and the very first patient was brought in 2002.
Wow, that's a long time ago.
It is a long time
It's
ago.
a beautiful building. It's huge.
Yeah, it doesn't make you feel like you're at the hospital. It
No.
was kind of funny. My dad, when he was in the hospital at one point when he lived here, I went in to visit him, and I was just surprised. I was like, it kind of felt like a hotel almost, because they got wallpaper. It's decorated very nicely.
Yeah.
Not the white sterile walls you
Right.
see in
And there's a lot of doctors' offices and other facilities connected to the hospital. But yeah, it's another architectural beauty.
Yeah. So there's also another hospital, though, that the villagers do go to, which is down in Leesburg, and that is what is it called? Was it the Leesburg Hospital? I think it was. But anyway, UF owns that now too. But those are.
Is that a heart type hospital?
It was just the regular hospital there, and if you get picked up in an ambulance and you're not at a point where critical care where they have to make a decision for you, you go to one of two hospitals, and I do believe that they will give you your options as to which one you want to go to. So anyway, but it's been a while since that hospital's been here. Did you know?
Did you know that we have the dates for all the openings of the squares? And the first one was Spanish Springs in May of '94. And Sumter Landing was August of 2004. Brownwood was October of 2012. It seems like about every 10 years, I think, as it builds, they put in a new square. And Sawgrass, which is kind of a
Square Light.
Yeah, mini square market square, just opened last year in October of 22. And that was kind of an experiment, but it's very popular and it's very cute. So, yeah, I mean,
And we're getting our most recent square that they are calling a square in Eastport, and that should be open in 2024, I believe.
Yeah.
Last I read.
It's kind of a 10-year deal as they grow and know that they needed another square for shopping and for restaurants. And so, yeah, did you know that?
Well, and did you know that Brownwood, I read, started with only 3 stores when they opened? On the opening day, it said they only started with 3 stores.
It was a little empty.
Yeah, and now it's grown to over 50. When we did our Brownwood video, we were a little bit surprised about how much was actually down there now. It's a lot. It's more spread out, I feel like, than the other squares. But man, there was a lot of stuff down there. So, but it said there's now more than 50 stores and restaurants. So both. So,
yeah. Well, and they probably built that, I think, about the time Finney was built. So that was a long ways for some people.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now with all that southern,
I think it was more like with like, because Finney, I think, has only been there about 6-7 years. But I think Brownwood kind of opened with like the Pine Ridge and all that Hillsboro and all that stuff down there, I think.
Okay.
I think Hisveni, I think, was about, I think that's been there like 7 years now, right?
I don't know. We'll have to look that up. Do you know?
Do you know?
Hey, did you know that the activities in the villages in 1990, there were about 8,000 residents?
Wow.
And only three golf courses, which I would assume maybe Silver Lake, Hilltop, and Orange Blossom.
Probably, yeah.
That's my guess.
Yeah.
And there was one store, Winn-Dixie, and four restaurants, and then they had dances each night in a tent.
Yeah, we talked about that in one of the videos.
Yeah,
that it was right
because
there.
we showed the
from...
place where
Yep.
across the way was kind of their first little gathering. We wouldn't call it a square, but yeah, that was the activities here in 1990. We've come a long way.
Yeah, it's changed a little bit.
A bit.
Did you know? Did you know we're getting a PGA Superstore, which I'm pretty excited about. I'm not sure if the village is very excited about that, but if you haven't been to a PGA Superstore, it is a giant store. They sell all sorts of golf stuff and tennis, and you can demo clubs. They sell clubs, clothing, all that stuff. So I wonder if it will put a dent in the village's country club,
their golf
business.
shows.
Yeah, the golf shops and
golf
stuff.
shops.
But it is a really cool store if you haven't been there. Tennis players, if they build it like the one in Illinois that I'm familiar with, you can actually even rent a tennis court in there and have a pro evaluate your swing and things like that.
Nice.
So yeah, it's kind of cool. And usually tennis clothes are harder to find. You can get them here if you're looking for them at the Glenview tennis shop, but that's the only place that tennis clothing is sold here in the villages. But very interesting, and it's going into the place. So if you are familiar with where that Earthware, was it Earthfare? Anyway,
it was a grocery store that didn't last.
It's gone. Yeah, it was here for a year maybe.
Close to Total Wine. Maybe people will know that.
Yep, right on 441, right next to Total Wine. So anyway, that's where it's going in. And I think that is slated to be here in fall 2023. So pretty cool.
I'm excited. We'll have to go get new outfits.
Yep. And then we'll go to Portillos.
Yeah, we'll make it a day.
Right after. So anyway, did you know that the Villages has their own radio station and television station?
I knew that.
We did know that. On the radio, you can listen to them on FM 102.7, FM 104.5, and AM 640. Or you can stream them if you like to do streaming on thevillagesdailysun.com. And you can listen to the radio.
Oh, that'll be nice because we don't have cable, so we don't get the channel. And they also play the radio, the Villages radio, on all three squares.
Yeah.
So if you go up there during the day, they have the music playing. At night, when there's a band, you can't hear it.
It gets drowned out
unless you get away from the square. But yeah, it's been there since I've been coming here.
Yeah, it's actually kind of cool. And they do the local stuff, and you hear a lot of advertisement for there's an open house at 123 Apple Street. And the other thing is, too, they do have a television station as well. I used to have Comcast. We don't anymore, but I used to have Comcast. I believe it was on Channel 2. I'm guessing they're on Spectrum 2. I don't know, though. But it was actually kind of it looks like a very locally produced TV show.
Right.
And if you go to like the doctor's office and you're sitting in the doctor's office, they have it on all the TVs.
Yeah.
Maybe some of the golf clubs put it on. I think the golf clubs usually put on golf, but anyway.
I think they might be using that one for the radar and like when you walk in.
The weather,
for the weather of, what it's going to do for the golfers who care.
But we did do a video called News and Information in the Villages, and I'll put the link in the description here because that gives you a good place to go to find out a lot of information about the happenings in the villages and everything. So when you move here, it seems a little overwhelming because there's so many activities. Well, how do I find this? Or how do I find that group I want to get into or whatever? And so we give you a lot of really good ideas there as to where to go for all of your information. So anyway, we'll put that in there. There's a little plug for our older video.
The radio station did it used to be at Spanish.
Yeah.
And now they've moved it over
Now
to
it's World of
Sumter.
Beer.
Yeah. Yeah, now it's World of Beer.
I think the sign's still out there, right, though? I think isn't the WVLG sign still out there? Or maybe
Probably.
not?
Yeah, I haven't looked lately.
I think it is. Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, we got our own little local TV and radio station here, too.
Did you know?
Did you know that the Villages also has an Enrichment Academy? Enrichment Academy? It's a lot to say.
That's a mouthful.
Basically, my grandmother back in Illinois used to call it home extension. And basically it was not college credits by any means, but it is continuing education. And so it's more of the things that you might not have gotten to take in college that maybe you get to do now because you've got more time. Recently I saw...
Yeah. Something you're interested in.
Yeah. Yeah. And recently I saw there was some Spanish classes and I was thinking, maybe I'll do that. There was a class on art, on painting and things like that, watercolors. And so there's just all sorts of extracurricular classes and can continue your mind thinking and maybe try something new. So you can create a new hobby for yourself.
I think they have like guitar lessons and piano and stuff like that. So yeah, if you take up something new.
And most of those do have a fee affiliated with them, just so you know. Sometimes it's just for the supplies, like the paint one that I happened to see recently. It was $20, but that's for your painting supplies. And it was just a one-time class. So some of them, they will continue on, and others, it's just a one and done, and you can go learn something. But they have all sorts of classes. And if you're interested in that, just look at theenrichmentacademy.org. And that's where all the information is and everything. And then you can go from there to find the classes and find out how to register and all that. But anyway, I think that's kind of cool because
it is very cool.
Older people do need to keep challenging our minds so that we don't just...
Right. Doesn't turn to mush.
Yeah. So, did you know?
Did you know that the Villages has camp villages for grandkids that come and visit? And they have it stuff throughout the summer because kids come and go visiting grandma and grandpa, and they have monthly events all year long. They have Easter week, which a lot of people come for Easter and spring break, and then they also have it 2 times during December, like right before Christmas and a few days after Christmas. So if your grandkids get bored of riding in a cart or swimming, you can sign them up for these camps, and they're pretty cool.
And they're very popular. I actually have a friend that her grandkids like to do, I guess they had a play that they did every year, and they were so attached to that. And so she had to go wait in line early. You can register tickets, online, but or you can go to the box office, I think it is where you do it. And I know she said, I got to get up, like basically it's like a concert. I got to get up at 4 a.m. and put my chair out so that I can get my grandkids into the camp. So some activities are pretty popular. So you want to look into them early and get registered early.
And it's a cool thing for when the kids come, because they can get bored if they're not around all their friends and everything. I know this is a really fun place, but it's a great idea.
Yeah, stuff their own age with kids their own age.
Right.
So it's kind of nice.
Did you know?
Also, what I forgot to mention, but coming to Sumter Landing soon is going to be Orange Theory. And so that is kind of a workout facility. I know they do a lot of classes there. Kind of more of the anaerobic stuff, more the weightlifting and that kind of thing. And you kind of do the circuit training and stuff at Orange Theory. So,
do you know where that's going to be located?
They just said Sumter, so they didn't say where.
There's some empty buildings there, so there's some possibilities. But that's kind of nice because Brownwood has what used to be MVP, and so does Spanish. And so it'll be nice it's right there that they'll have a workout facility.
So, anyway.
Hey, did you realize that the Shay Gate on the historic side of the Villages never had a gate or either going in or going out? I mean, every entrance coming in and out of the residential has a gate, an arm that you have a card or push the button, and a gate to get out. And we didn't realize that when we first moved down here, or not moved down here, we had a house we worked on, and we flew in really late one night. We had an SUV. We came up to the Orange Blossom gate there, and there was no one there, and we didn't know there was a red button you could push. We always thought you had to talk to the guy there, or gal. And so we kind of straddled it and did a 4-wheel drive around the gate and got in, and then we were in our cart one day, and we went by the Shay Gate, and we're like, why didn't somebody tell us that you can go in and out of there without the gate? So it's never had a gate, and
Apparently it never will.
never. Well, if it hasn't by now, I doubt if it will. Did you know?
Okay, so it's time to get Billy in the house. He's a little hot. So
He's sitting in the shade, and we're not.
that's true. We're hot. We need to go get a drink of water. Or something else. But anyway, we just want to say thanks so much for watching, for always having kind comments and contributing, because we do love to hear the things that you guys think and have experienced here as well. And
questions that you ask. Yeah, we appreciate it.
So please like and subscribe.